Well, this was a time we were all trying to avoid and ignore. The end of the road trip. However, the next 24 hours in New Zealand will also give us an unexpected lasting memory of an underground cave complex. And we'll also share our thoughts of what has been a really spectacular and memorable trip. We're lucky that we wake up to continued sunshine and highly recommend both this campsite and the location where you can simply stop and unwind. And to be honest, it would be really easy for us to stay here for several days if you have the luxury of time. We've noticed a waterfall walk at Bridal Veil Falls, and it's not too far away before we head north towards Auckland and our last stopover in the motorhomes. If you like our videos, please give them a like and make sure you subscribe, which is free, and our videos will simply appear in your favourites feed. There's a short walk following the stream that feeds into the waterfall. We had no idea of what we're about to see. Wow! Wow indeed. It took us aback a little by its size and beauty.
The falls were formed by volcanic activity some 2.5 million years ago, and the water cascades over the upper hard basalt rock created from the lava flow. The water plummets down onto the softer sandstone of the pool below, and the vertical cliff is gradually formed by slow erosion. The water spray is perfect for the surrounding tropical light vegetation. A truly spectacular must-visit site. So we leave the waterfalls, which are actually spectacular, and we're heading towards a campsite stop, which is our last night ultimately, but we need to do something today, so we're heading for a spot we'd identified for lunch. It was actually a glowworm cave. Now we decided that
yeah, for some reason we decided we weren't going to go to the glowworm cave. I don't know why.
Actually in the cave, but we just wanted a place
we just thought
for
we'd just have lunch out. Yeah. Simple day.
Yeah. So anyway, we turn up, and the place outside is, for whatever reason, was absolutely rammed. And normally these places have been quite empty and all, but this was absolutely, couldn't get in the car park. I parked outside.
And this always amuses me because you can end up having the best days ever. We nearly never bothered. Caroline said, I'll just go in and ask.
You parked, Roger?
No, I'm going to go in and see if it's okay if we can block anybody in.
Stu thinks you can park in front of us, but I'm not 100% sure.
The next minute she's back saying, right, we've got tea and cake, let's go. And we're like, well,
So we
okay.
park up, we get in there, and the next thing, we're signing up to a cave tour.
We were literally drinking our tea and eating cake and putting helmets on.
Yeah, with torches and all that. And unfortunately you couldn't film at all, and the reason for that will become obvious because, you know, they want to protect the area, but also you're going to get dirty and wet on this tour. This is no boardwalk tour. This is no set up along nice little boarding with lights and all of that. This is a raw cave.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit like that with the Santa Caroline. We're a bit like that with confined spaces. We're not quite sure if we're going to do it anyway. Caroline come up to the entrance, but she ended up coming back, and I pushed myself to go into it, but I was still quite nervous about it.
Yeah.
And it's a 2 hour. This is a 2 hour thing, and there was nobody else on the tour, by the way. So all this, we worked out what was going on because the car park was full, but there was nobody on the tour.
We kept saying, I don't know how much this is going to cost us. But it's like, it's too late now, we're here.
We literally had a personal private tour, which we was. It was just the three of us. It's about 2 kilometres, I think, of walking and that. So we get into the cave, and there's no lights in there. There's nothing in there. Effectively, you start to pothole. So it goes dark very quickly because you're just into lights, and the guide's really good. Gets you in there, you switch your torches off, and she gets you to look up, and
it's just took our breath away.
It's magical.
It was magical.
It was.
Yeah.
It just looks like you're under the stars and you can touch them. That's the only way I can describe it.
Well, we were so close to them.
Yeah.
It was a very immersive. I hate not too keen on that word, but it was really immersive.
Yeah.
They were right here, weren't they, to us? It was just incredible.
She was really good, explained all about the glowworms. They actually work in communities apparently, and they decide who's going to switch on the lights, etc., and who doesn't.
We'll have to check that fact.
Check that fact.
Could have been taking the mickey out of us, but you know what? It made a great story at the time.
She enjoyed having us on the tour.
Yeah, she did. She says, "Oh, you guys are my favourite." She says, "Every time I turn a light on, all I can hear is sort of like, woo, ooh, ah," because we were just like blown away by it.
And we got on this tour, and I got my best shorts on and a decent shirt on. You got your best dress on.
Actually, it's this dress. It was brand new on, and before I knew it, I was on my hands and knees going through a tunnel in water and clay in a brand new dress. And weirdly, this dress, we've just been to Europe, also ended up covered in clay. So I think this must be my clay dress.
Because we still thought it was going to be more of a touristy thing, and we suddenly realised this has become more and more of a potholing thing. And halfway through, we get to this point where it's really pothole. We have to go down through a hole in rocks, work your way
Very
through,
tight,
and you get to a river, a little stream at the bottom of it, and then you have to commando roll one at a time. So you're just getting covered. Hence no cameras, because you've got to concentrate getting through. My heart was going 10 to the dozen at times,
and all I kept thinking of is, oh my God, my new dress. You're worried about your heart. I'm worried about my dress.
And unfortunately, when I got to this point, do it, don't do it, and I thought, I'm going to push myself, and then. The thing is that you're not going to come back this way. It was a one-way tour. She said, no, you get through this, and then it opens up into a big cavern, and you carry on out. So I knew once I got through this, I'd be all right. So we managed to got all filthy, got off through to the other end, get ourselves into the centre of the cavern, which is just absolutely gorgeous. Sort of stalagmites, they're so tall, etc. You're not allowed to touch them. Although I think you nearly did once.
No, I didn't go to touch one of those. It was more a solid slab. Yeah. So I knew I wasn't going to harm it, but it's like, touch the pretty light thing. It's like, oh, she's like, don't touch. It's like, okay.
And so I think somebody had on a
yeah, they had, and they've broken it.
Broken it big, so you can understand why they're protecting it.
Yeah.
And anyway, she gets us to again switch off the torch, and every time we do this, you look up and you've got the glowworms above, and it just takes your breath away. It's just it's so raw. It's like this is thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, and you're there. And I think that was the other thing. Yeah. So and then I hear her say in the background, "I wonder if he's here." And I sort of half twigged on what I thought it might be. Jane hadn't heard it, so we put our torches on, and I put my torch down. Jane's still sort of knee deep in the stream, weren't you?
I was stood knee deep in the water at this stage.
Right by her
was Eddie the eel.
Great big eel.
Great big black eel. It must have been like this.
It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. She looks down a bit and then
said a few words. One of them was mother.
Fastest I saw her move, I'll be honest with you.
I was doing that run, when your knees come up like this.
She was out of there.
I was out. Oh God.
Oh, we didn't half laugh at it, but it was. And apparently the Eddie the eel lives in there. He's the only one eel in there, and I didn't know what he fed on, but he's sort of passing crayfish in the stream.
Yeah, there's lots of things.
And he just stays there. He's been there for years, apparently. And then we sort of head out the cavern and out, and it's about a 2 kilometre walk back, and because we get out and Obviously we're not. Obviously Caroline did come in, so we didn't want to be too
it was
happy jolly about it.
It really was. Just, you know, and you go out and you have a day and you're just expecting to have lunch, and then we had one of the most surreal experiences that we've probably, you know, it's right up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I said, look, you know, just whatever went on in the cave, it stays in the cave. Let's just say it was okay. You know, we didn't want to sort of go. We've just had the most amazing experience. So.
Yeah, so we come down the hillside to the cafe, and Caroline comes out, you know, beaming, smiling, because she's equally had an experience that she wasn't expecting. When she got back to the place, the farmer saw her come back down and actually took her into an event that was going, which is why all these people were there, weren't they?
Yeah, it was the farmers' wives and the lady farmers, I think. They were having a motivational talk by an Olympian gold medalist, a lady. Was she a hockey player?
And it's something that was a topic that Caroline was really passionate about. So she went in there and was looked after and all that. And she had a most fantastic... So we both had these experiences, and we were both swapping these experiences. Yeah. It was just one of those days,
especially
really.
We'd only just gone for lunch.
Went into the cafe and, you know, got some things to eat and drink, and then we come to pay, and they haven't got any card payment capabilities there because of where they're at, you know, and we had no cash on us, so we couldn't pay, and we had no idea, you know, because we'd racked up a bill for the tour itself, which was actually really, we think, really cheap, good, huge value for money. So if you go in, definitely go. Plus all the food that we'd had, and I can't pay them. So for 4 people and that, so they were so laid back about it.
So late. She's like, "Don't worry about it. We'll sort it."
So they gave us their bank details, but it took us the next week to sort it out as we were travelling up to the next part of the trip, because it's an international payment. I think at one point we got in contact with her, and she said, "Oh, my husband, the farmer, is up in the Russell area."
She said, "Where are you?" She's like, "Oh, maybe you could go and find him."
He's looking at some goats or something like that. So yeah, you go and meet him with sheep and that. And thought we won't do that, and because we'll never find each other. Yeah. And we managed to sort it out with the bank. But anyway, one of those
fantastic hosts. If you get to go there, I mean, make an effort to go there. Honestly, really good place.
Yeah.
We are all buzzing from the 2 experiences that we've had, and it will be a topic of conversation for many years to come. We're heading to a campsite at Port Waikato, where we can sort out the motorhomes before we hand them back over to Wilderness Motorhomes the following day. The campsite was a little tired looking, but it allowed us to do what we needed to do before getting out the barbecue for the last time, and basically just cook everything that we had in the fridges. Especially the weather's perfect. Hold on, I'll zoom in for the sizzle.
We've got the sizzle. Mr. Sizzle over here. Over here.
The following morning, a low-lying mist covered the ground, and it's a sure sign of their autumn season approaching. But it gave us some really unique shots.
It's last day in the van, so we've had 4 weeks. It's been brilliant. We've had a real good time. Roger and Caroline, they've really enjoyed their first time in a motorhome. They've really got into the swing of it. I think they'd have carried on like we would have done. But we've come back to where we started, which was in Auckland. We're just on our way back to Wilderness Motorhomes to drop off the van. We've done all the usual things of, you know, filling up the LPG, propane tanks, which they actually fill up the garage for us, 8 kilogram bottles. They do that for us, the attendant, which was good, fairly cheap. I can't remember what it was. And obviously we've emptied the grey and black waste and tidied up the van for the handover. We're running slightly late, only 10 minutes though, it's alright. And we're collecting a hire car. So I've arranged for a hire car to come out to the wilderness where we'll swap all our suitcases over into one rental. So there'll be the 4 of us in one rental car. And then we're heading up to one part of the island that we haven't actually looked at at all, which is it's the Bay of Islands, I think it's called. It's a place called Russell, right at the top end. And it looks like, fingers crossed, we're going to have a good week up there of really just chilling out in an Airbnb. So yeah, it was a bit of a sad day, knowing it was the last day of that trip, driving back to Auckland, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was always going to be a sad day.
Yeah.
Every trip at the end is a sad day.
I have to say, we had a fantastic time. We had planned it. We didn't micro-plan it. I think that was the right thing to do, but I think we got the right mix, especially for Roger and Caroline being their first trip between campsites. If you wanted to do free camping, you could, to be honest. I don't think, especially out of season, because don't forget we went out of season just after the summer. So we did 30 days. I think you could easily do more. Some people say just do one island in those times. But I'm glad we did both.
Yeah, I think we did it right. We won't be going back.
Yeah.
Only because, not that we didn't like it, but only because there's other places we'd like to go. Yeah. So I think from that angle, we saw as much as we could in that time to give us a feel of the whole. Yeah. Well, both islands. So.
Yeah. So it delivered some, and we hit them at times, especially when we first arrived with bad weather and that, wasn't it? So that also shows things in different light. You see other things, so it's not all about sunshine and beaches sometimes. And then as nice as that
that was nice.
Some great experiences like the Glowworm cave, like the beach. There's several things there, so definitely do it. Yeah. Some people have asked why I didn't use my drone. I didn't take my drone. I was going to. Obviously, you got extra weight to carry, and that means something else doesn't go, I guess. But it became very complicated. They charge around $75 for a license to use per dock area or dock region. Now, there's several dock regions, Department of Conservation regions. And obviously that's where I probably want to film a lot of the time, and that's $75 each time. So it's not like come to New Zealand, you pay a one-off fee, which I haven't got a problem with. It was a lot. It became complicated, and you have to also register your flights before you actually take them. What you're going to fly. So that's
got too hard. Didn't it
just got too complicated. So in the end, I just didn't do it. In the end, it's a shame because I don't think they make it easy. But equally, I understand why they protect. And you have to have rules. I just found that the price was a bit too much, to be perfectly honest.
Your destination is on the left.
Honest. Busy around there. Rentals drop off only.
So we'll see you in the next episode as we share another jewel in New Zealand's crown.